here for Waterlogged on behalf of saltwateraquarium.com. In this two-part video, I am going to go over the top commonly made mistakes that aquarists make, starting with number 10. That's tank placement. A lot of new people to the hobby will send me photos of these super green tanks. They've not been overfeeding, they've cycled their tank right, but what they didn't realize is where they set their tank up is right in front of or nearby either a window or a window from a door that gets direct light at certain points during the day. That combined with the lights that they already have on their tank, it just gets to be way too much. So make sure when you're setting up a new tank that you put it in a space that you are able to control all of the direct and indirect light that it's getting. It's gonna save you a lot of headache in the long run. Moving on to number 9, that is lighting. So a lot of times if you have your lights either set on a timer or you're running it through an app on your phone, we have the lights set for way too long. As humans, we like to have our areas that we work in very well lit so that we can see things as we go about our day, but fish and corals don't need all of the light that we might think. Instead of having your lights on for 12 to 15 hours a day, try running them for 6 to 8 hours a day. A lot of times I like to recommend to people that you can go ahead and have your lights ramp up as you come home in the evenings and then slowly ramp down before you go to bed. That way, while you're home, you can enjoy the beauty that is your tank. Number 8 is a lid for your tank. Not all tanks come already with lids. That's why I think it's important you should have a lid on your tank. There's a lot of different species of fish that are commonly kept, like some of those gobies, wrasses, blennies, even some of the smaller damsels that are really, really jumpy. They get scared easily and end up hopping out of the tank that doesn't have a lid on it. Even some lids that don't fit correctly, there can be little gaps that they find their way out of. So if you have a lid on there, you're going to keep your fish alive instead of dead on the carpet. Another good reason to have a lid is for fish that like to spit water. Cowfish like my buddy Frank here, pufferfish, and triggers are all naturally spitting fish. It's a behavior that they do in the wild to help them eat, and so you shouldn't be surprised if you see them spitting water out of the tank to get your attention. Now, if you have a lid on your tank, that's going to help protect your furniture from getting wet, any of your electronics that are nearby your tank, and help you from slipping on water that might get on the floor, as well as keep any salt creep to a minimum. Okay, number 7, and that is making sure that you don't have soap or lotion on your hands. A lot of times we'll wash our hands and little bits of soapy residue might get stuck under our nails or near our watches, and having that get into your tank is going to cause issues. The same goes for any lotions that you might have on. Saltwater tanks are going to dry out your hands, so it's easy to understand that you would want to put lotion on, but if you're going to do that, make sure you do it after you've already put your hands in the tank. Now, especially if you are doing some of rockscaping or if you are moving frags around, you want to wash from your fingertips all the way to your elbow or even higher, depending on how far you're going to have your hand in the water. Wash them, make sure you get all of that soap off, and then dry them with a clean towel. Each of my tanks has their own designated towel. That way I know when I'm using it to dry my hands, it's not gonna have any other contaminants from my household on it, and it's gonna be safe for me to use. All right, number 6, the last on my list today is cleaning. Now, when you are using household cleaners, a lot of times there's sprays that some of those particles can get into the air. You don't want that. So if you are using household cleaners, don't use them anywhere near your tank, and make sure if you're spraying them, spray them into a rag or closer to the surface that you are cleaning. Along those same lines, if you have someone coming in to clean your house, make sure they know not to clean your tank itself or near your tank. I had a client once who had a cleaning crew come in, and the sprays that they used in the other room ended up wiping out a whole bunch of their coral because it got into the air and into the tank, and nobody wants that. Same sort of concept if you have pest control companies coming in to take care of spraying for pests, make sure they know to stay away from your tanks. You can also ask them to use products that are safe for pets and for children. A lot of times that will make sure that it's safe for your tank. One last thing, when it comes to products that you use in your household, is candles. A lot of times we like to have things smelling good. You can use candles, just keep them in the other room. You don't want any of those products that are being burned off into the air getting into your tank. All right, stay tuned for part 2 of commonly made mistakes. This has been Hilary for Waterlogged on behalf of saltwateraquarium.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.